Let's start with a lie. It is a lie so pervasive, so deeply embedded in our culture, that you probably don't even recognize it as a lie. You hear it at every high school graduation. You see it on every inspirational Instagram quote card. You read it in every biography of a billionaire. Follow your passion. Do what you love, and you will never work a day in your life. It sounds beautiful, doesn't it? It sounds romantic. It sounds like the secret code to a happy existence. It promises that if you just find that one thing you love, painting, writing, gaming, baking, and you turn it into a career, the money will follow. But I am here to tell you that this piece of advice is the single greatest destroyer of wealth for our generation. It is a trap. It is a marketing slogan designed to keep you poor, obedient, and constantly chasing a fantasy. And it is working. My name is Bobby, and today we are going to dismantle the passion economy. We are going to look at the brutal math of why cool jobs pay poverty wages. We are going to expose how the education system weaponizes your dreams to enslave you with debt. And I am going to show you why the boring, unsexy, dirty jobs are actually your ticket to freedom. If you are tired of being broke while living your dream, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's get into the uncomfortable truth. To understand why passion is a terrible business plan, we have to put aside our feelings. We have to look at the cold, hard mechanics of the market. We have to look at supply and demand. This is the gravity of the financial world. You cannot negotiate with gravity. Let's imagine two different career paths. Path A is the passion path. Let's say you love travel. You want to be a travel vlogger, or a travel photographer, or a hotel reviewer. It sounds amazing. Who wouldn't want to get paid to drink coconuts in Bali? Who wouldn't want to get paid to ski in the Swiss Alps? Because it sounds amazing, everyone wants to do it. The supply of people who want this job is effectively infinite. There are millions of people willing to do this job. In fact, the desire is so high that people are willing to do it for free. They will do it for exposure. They will do it just to have the title in their bio. And when supply is infinite, what happens to price? Price crashes. It goes to zero. The market value of a fun job is always suppressed by the millions of people standing in line behind you, begging to take your spot. This creates what economists call the cool tax. If a job is cool, if it offers status, fame, or creative expression, you pay a tax to do it. And you pay that tax in the form of lower wages. You are effectively paying for the privilege of having a cool job. Now let's look at Path B. Path B is the boring path. Let's talk about septic tank maintenance. Let's talk about commercial HVAC repair. Let's talk about corporate compliance auditing. Who is passionate about septic tanks? Who wakes up at 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning, looks in the mirror, and says, "I was born to unclog sewage lines"? Nobody. The supply of people excited about this job is near zero. But the demand? The demand is non-negotiable. When a restaurant's sewage line backs up on a Friday night, they do not care about passion. They do not care about your why. They care about a solution. And because nobody wants to do it, the person who is willing to do it has all the leverage. They can charge a premium. They can name their price. This is the great irony of the labor market. The more fun a job is, the less it pays. The more painful, boring, or dirty a job is, the more it pays. But we have been brainwashed to believe the opposite. We have been told that money follows passion. The math says that money follows friction. Money follows pain. If you are solving a problem that nobody else wants to solve, you will be wealthy. If you are doing a job that everyone else wants to do, you will be poor. So, where did this lie come from? Has it always been this way? No. This is a very recent invention. Go back to 1920. Go back to your great-grandfather. Do you think he spent his days wondering if coal mining aligned with his chakras? Do you think he had an existential crisis because his job at the steel mill didn't fulfill his soul? No. He viewed work for what it was. A transaction. I give you labor. You give me money. I use that money to feed my family, buy a house, and maybe buy a fishing rod for the weekend. His passion was fishing. His job was steel. He did not confuse the two. He did not expect his boss to be his therapist. But somewhere around the 1980s and 1990s, the culture shifted. We entered the era of the self. We were told that we are all special snowflakes. We were told that we are all destined for greatness. And corporations realized something very clever. They realized that if they could convince you that work was about purpose rather than money, they could pay you less. Think about it. Why do nonprofits pay so poorly? Because they pay you in purpose. Why do video game companies treat their developers like garbage, working them 80 hours a week with no overtime? Because those developers are passionate. They exploit your love for the work to suppress your wages. Passion became a tool of corporate control. If you complain about the low pay, they say, "Oh, you must not be passionate enough." If you were really in it for the art, you wouldn't care about the money. Do you see the manipulation? They have weaponized your own dreams against you. And who is the biggest culprit in this scam? The university system, the education industrial complex. Universities are businesses, and like any business, they need to sell a product. But they have a problem. They cannot guarantee you a job. They cannot guarantee you a salary. So what do they sell instead? They sell the experience. They sell the dream. They create degree programs that sound amazing to an 18-year-old but have zero value in the marketplace. Degrees in puppetry arts. Degrees in fashion merchandising. Degrees in media studies. Now listen to me. I am not saying these subjects aren't interesting. They are very interesting. But they are hobbies. They are not careers. When a university charges you $100,000 for a degree in a field where the average salary is $30,000, they are committing fraud. They are selling you a luxury product, an intellectual vacation, and financing it with non-dischargeable government debt. They tell you, follow your passion, the money will come. Why do they tell you that? Because if they told you the truth, if they told you study accounting or engineering or don't come here, their enrollment would drop by 50%. They need you to believe the lie so they can fill the seats in the liberal arts department. So you graduate. You are 22 years old. You have a degree in film theory. You have $80,000 in debt. And you enter a job market that doesn't care about your theory. The market asks, what can you do? Can you code? Can you sell? Can you fix the HVAC system? And you say, no, but I am very passionate about cinema. The market says, great. Here is a job making coffee for $12 an hour. And you take it, because you have to pay the debt. And this is where the cycle of poverty begins. Let's put some real numbers on this. I want to show you the lifetime cost of following your passion. Let's compare two people, Passion Paul and Boring Bob. Passion Paul decides to be a graphic designer. He loves art. He wants to be creative. He goes to art school. Tuition is high. He graduates with $60,000 in debt. He enters a saturated market. Everyone is a designer. AI is doing design. Upwork is full of people charging $5 an hour. Paul gets a job at an agency. It's cool. They have a ping pong table. He starts at $45,000 a year. Because the field is saturated, wage growth is slow. By age 40, maybe he is making $70,000. Now, let's look at Boring Bob. Bob likes art too, but Bob understands math. Bob decides to become a project manager for a commercial construction firm. Is he passionate about concrete drying times? No, but the industry is desperate for organized people. Bob doesn't go to art school. He gets a cheaper certification or a business degree. He starts at $65,000. Because he is solving high-stakes problems, his value is high. By age 40, Bob is a senior PM making $140,000. Now, let's compound this over a 40-year career. The difference isn't just the salary. It's what the salary buys. Boring Bob can max out his 401k every year from age 25. Passion Paul is struggling just to pay rent and student loans. He saves nothing until age 35. When they both retire at 65, Passion Paul has a net worth of maybe $300,000. He relies on Social Security. He is stressed. Boring Bob has a net worth of $2.5 million. He has a paid-off house. He has a boat. And here's the kicker. Who do you think did more art in their lifetime? Passion Paul spent 40 years making logos for dog food companies because that's what the client wanted. He hates art now. Boring Bob spent 40 years working 9 to 5, but he had the money and the free time to paint whatever he wanted on the weekends. Bob owns a studio. Bob travels to Italy to see the masters. Paul is burnt out. The boring path funded the passion. The passion path destroyed the passion. This leads me to the psychological trap. There is a concept in psychology called the overjustification effect. It works like this. If you take something you do for fun and you start getting paid for it, your brain changes how it views that activity. It stops being play. It starts being work. Let me tell you the story of Sarah. Sarah loves baking. It's her therapy. On Sundays, she bakes cookies, and she feels peace. Her friends say, "Sarah, these are amazing. You should open a bakery. So she listens. She follows her passion. She quits her job. She opens a bakery. Now, she has to wake up at 3 a.m. every single day. She isn't baking what she wants. She is baking 500 identical muffins because that's what sells. She is dealing with health inspectors. She is dealing with employees who steal from the register. She is dealing with rising flour prices. 6 months later, Sarah hates baking. The smell of flour makes her sick. She has taken the one thing that brought her peace and turned it into a source of chronic stress. She has commoditized her joy. And once you turn your hobby into a job, you can never go back. You have lost your sanctuary. You need a place in your life that is just for you. A place where there are no KPIs, no customers, no deadlines. When you monetize everything, you have nothing left for yourself. So why do we do it? If the math is so bad and the psychology is so damaging, why do we keep falling for it? Because of status. We are addicted to cool. We want a job title that sounds impressive at a cocktail party. When someone asks, "What do you do?" we want to say, "I'm a music producer. I'm a fashion stylist. I'm an architect." We want the dopamine hit of their admiration. We don't want to say, "I manage a logistics fleet for a waste disposal company." That sounds boring. But here is the secret that wealthy people know. Status and wealth are often inversely correlated. The guy with the cool job is often living in a studio apartment with 3 roommates, struggling to pay for an Uber. The guy with the boring job, the guy who owns the porta potty company, or the lady who runs the dry cleaning franchise, is quietly building an empire. They don't care about looking cool. They care about being free. Status is a drug. And like any drug, it costs you money. You are paying for that cool job title with your lifetime earnings. You are subsidizing your own ego with your future freedom. Is it worth it? Is the 30 seconds of validation you get at a party worth 40 years of financial struggle? I don't think so. So what is the solution? Am I telling you to be miserable? Am I telling you to give up on your dreams and just be a drone? No, I am telling you to be strategic. I want you to adopt the mercenary mindset. I want you to use a strategy one called the career barbell. Imagine a barbell. It has weights on 2 opposite ends. On one end, you have your income. This should be boring. This should be stable. This should be high utility. Find a problem in the market that is complex, boring, and necessary. Learn Excel macros. Learn supply chain management. Learn tax law. Learn elevator repair. Go where the pain is. Because where there is pain, there is profit. Maximize your earnings per hour here. Do not look for fulfillment. Look for leverage. On the other end of the barbell, you have your passion. This is your art, your music, your writing, your travel. Because your boring job pays you so well, you can fund this side aggressively. You can buy the best camera. You can travel to the best locations. And most importantly, you can do it without pressure. You don't need your art to pay the rent. So you don't have to compromise. You don't have to sell out. You can create pure, authentic art because you are financially secure. This is how the true masters lived. Did you know that T.S. Eliot, one of the greatest poets in history, was a banker? He worked at Lloyd's Bank in London. He wore a suit. He dealt with numbers. And at night, he wrote poetry that changed the world. He didn't quit the bank to follow his passion. The bank protected his passion. Einstein worked at a patent office. It was a boring government job, but it gave him the stability and the mental space to invent the theory of relativity. Your job is not your identity. Your job is a sponsor. It is the angel investor that funds your actual life. Treat it that way. Stop looking for a soulmate in your paycheck. Look for a cash cow. If you are currently stuck in the passion trap, if you are an underpaid creative or a struggling freelancer or a burned-out dreamer, I am not judging you. I feel for you. The entire system, from Disney movies to university brochures, was designed to put you there. But you can wake up. You can pivot. It is time to kill the romance and look at the math. You need to separate your provider from your passion. Go find the boring work. Go find the dirty work. Go find the hard work. Embrace the unsexy path. Because the unsexy path is the only one that leads to a sexy life. The ultimate flex is not having a cool job title. The ultimate flex is owning your time. The ultimate flex is having a bank account so full that you don't need a job title to feel important. So, put down the Follow Your Dreams book. Pick up a book on accounting. Pick up a book on sales. Solve a real problem. Get paid. And then, use that money to build a life that is truly your own. If this video poked a hole in your fantasy, good. I would rather you be hurt and rich then comforted and broke. Smash that like button if you choose utility over passion. And subscribe if you want to learn the brutal truths about money that your guidance counselor never told you. I'll see you in the next one.